to go. What do you think, Neil? Not enough tyre, perhaps, for Binder?
Yeah, it just looks, well, he always looks on the edge, doesn't he, Brad Binder? But I think it's looking like the drive part of the tyre has gone. Look at that there, and that's...
Round 4 is underway again, and it looks like Aprilia didn't get off the line again, but the KTMs did with Miller, and now it's Binder around the outside. Brad Binder into turn 1, so just like yesterday, Binder takes advantage of the second restart with Miller in behind in second, then Martin in third, Espargaro in fourth. On the inside, Danny Pedrosa.
But Pedrosa on the inside hesitated then. I think he was going to climb with was it Bagnaia?
Yeah,
he hesitated.
And that meant Marini came straight through.
Yeah, you can't hesitate on the first lap on a MotoGP bike.
And that's Marini, who doesn't really like hustle and bustle. Here goes Bagnaia.
Aggressive there, straight into turn 5 on the inside of the race spot.
On that Ducati. Jorge Martin looked racy yesterday early on in the race.
Bagnaia around the outside, impossible.
It's possible. He's not going to hang on, is he? Not for the world champion.
Incredible.
Pecco Bagnaia takes third from around the outside. Echoes of Jorge Lorenzo. That one ripped the hair. That was it. Well, I've never seen anything like that.
Never seen that one done before.
We've already said today you can't pass around the outside at Danny Pedrosa corner. So
Pecco's up for this, Gav.
He is, and he's gone through Jorge Martin into third place as he yellow flag gone out, third back. So it's Miller, then Bagnaia in third, Alex Rins, winner last time. It's just, he was 18th on the grid. It's been a tough weekend. Just shows 1 week to the next. Things can change very quickly in the world of MotoGP. That was tight there. Bagnaia thinking about going through on Miller. But these KTMs, you point them at the corner, point them at the apex, and then you squat them out again.
Yeah, I mean, look how low the KTMs are on the rear. Their lowering device is almost even lower than any of the other manufacturers, so it really helps them in the braking area.
He said Danny Pedrosa wasn't up for the fight, firing it from miles back on the inside of Luca Marini. Unfortunately, ran it wide, so Zarco comes through, but Pedrosa clearly feels he's got potential here.
He's got the pace to be on the podium as Danny Pedrosa. He's a light rider. He's always had an advantage. If the track's hot, he has an advantage because he's so light. Get ready for this. He weighs 48 kilos. I don't know what that is in over because that's 7 stone.
Here comes Miller defending now from Bagnaia. Quartararo will just go on his dashboard. Long lap penalty. We think, what have I done? He's made it up to 11th in the race. He's got a hard front tyre on. I wonder if that's because he didn't have any more spare.
Yeah, could be.
But a hard front tyre in his spare bike, and he'll suddenly be being told, hang about, I've made up 5 positions, but I've got to relinquish one. Or 2. Or more. As Jorge Martin goes through briefly into third, but Bagnaia straight back on the undercut.
So aggressive is Bagnaia. I mean, yeah, we've seen him be here. I'm so glad he didn't shoot underneath and they'd have both been in the gravel there then. But Bagnaia, yeah, we've seen him be slightly aggressive in the past, but he's so up for it.
John Mears gone again, turn 9, as Miller comes through. Miller at the final corner, just like he did in the sprint race, takes over the lead. And let's not forget, he won his first race here with the Ducati. Can he do that again on the KTM? Binder thought he was going to come back, but no. Miller hangs on in front. Fastest rider on the racetrack is the Aussie.
I mean, this man, Joan Mir will not believe it. He cannot stay on that motorcycle in a race. Every time he pushes hard, usually he washes the front tire. It's been a nightmare season for him. It's that cursed number 2 Honda seat. If you get on that Repsol Honda, it's almost the beginning of the end, isn't it? Everyone who's jumped on that has pretty much gone into early retirement.
Back down towards Danny Pedrosa corner.
And now into Brad Binder corner. And it's submission. Yeah, incredible. I mean, he was so good there with Brad Binder. Tell you what though, if you're Jack Miller, you're happy now at the front of this pack. You've got the cool air, or let's say cooler air on that front tyre. A lot of the riders talked about it yesterday in pack. Following riders, the front tyre temperature going up above 100 degrees.
Jorge Martin was one of those, said he made it pass early in the race and then just wasn't able to anymore. Just the tyre pressure going up in front. He said his temperature was well over 100 degrees.
And yeah, when it gets to that point, honestly, it feels like it's so overinflated. You've got no contact patch, you've got no grip at all. It feels horrible, greasy, slimy. And you know what it's like on these MotoGP bikes, especially with the ride height, the lowering ride height device, it locks the front when you're braking in a straight line.
This is Dani Pedrosa looser than you'll ever normally see him, but he is such a tidy rider on the bike. I was out in Paddock yesterday talking to Moto2 rider, race winner, Grand Prix winner, Mattia Pizzini, and he was saying how much he enjoyed Pedrosa. He says, if I'm to write a textbook about how to ride a motorcycle, I'm just going to show them Dani Pedrosa.
That's a really good point. Max Bianchi was the same.
We've got
the exact same crash we've seen at that corner from most Honda riders. Yeah.
Nakagami, Mia, and
it's that point where you release the brake, you touch the throttle, you've still got, obviously you're at full lean angle, but it just goes that quickly, you're not expecting it, there's nothing you can do.
Just getting a little bit of a gap behind because Miller again was a little bit quicker on that last lap. They're both 2/10 quicker than Bagnaia behind. What we do know is that Dani Pedrosa tested here a couple of weeks ago. Ducati didn't test, and they will get some brilliant data from Pedrosa. They'll know what the tyre's going to do in race distance when you're out front leading like this.
Exactly, and as a test rider, that's what Pedrosa's job is to do race runs, test the tyres, see what they feel like. And it's not just what the tyres feel like, then what it gives the engineers so much information for their electronic strategy, how much traction control you need, how free we can have this motorcycle so you can use more of the power up the inside.
Brad Binder lined that one up, didn't he, coming through those two fast right-handers. And again, it's that stop in the middle of the corner, nothing you can do. Miller will line back up behind his South African teammate. Fabio Quartararo did his long lap loop, rejoined there. A little bit tight, wasn't it? Right in front of Augusto Fernandez, but looks like he's okay in the end.
Right, Binder to the...
Okay in the end.
Right, Binder to the front. He already looks like he's stretching it. We saw this yesterday, that very first lap he got to the front, pulled the lead, full attack mode. There's 20 laps to go though, so you can't burn your tyre out. We've learned that over the years here at Jerez. It's a long old race. Lots of these long corners. Perfect example, turn 5. You have the side of the tyre. If you burn the dry part of your tyre out, your lap times come the last sort of 5 laps into the second.
Bagnaia see Binder hitting the front as an invitation or I suppose a declaration of war. Yeah, I think he wants to get through on Jack Miller, doesn't he? And the hand comes out there. Oh, and Miller unhappy with it, and Martin's gonna. Yeah, I think he might have been pushed maybe a little bit by Miller. Miller's gonna come back.
Miller was a fraction wide, and Bagnaia did what every racer would do. He went for the gap. No, they were clearly in contact.
Miller brings the hand off to remonstrate. But as you say, he was wide. I wonder if there was contact. Bagnaia didn't put his hand up.
There will definitely have been contact for them both to be waving arms at each other. Here we go. He's slightly wide. Yeah, that's a big hit. And he's apologised. And Jack said you can stick that apology right. Anyway, last corner.
The thing about Miller, what he's doing there is the line that he and Binder can do, isn't it? It's that contact square.
It's that thing. It's literally get the bike stopped, keep the throttle closed, turn it and stand it up. The problem is there is a slight gap there. There's a meter gap. Let's hope there's no penalties being
counted everything out. What we've seen.
You know, obviously Grand Prix winner saying, you know, you've created these rules, you've created sprint races, everything's so close, you're all on the same tyres, you've given concessions to manufacturers who are struggling to create close racing. The riders are giving you close racing, and now you're starting penalising riders for just making passes.
When he kind of got that contact again there from Martin and Miller, and what that also did was force Aleix Espargaro to sit up on the outside. He hangs in on the inside. Oh, Luca Marini goes from bad to worse for Fabio Quartararo. He's been involved in a crash, been given a long lap penalty, which we felt was a little bit harsh, and he's got to do it again. He hasn't complied correctly with it. He's probably gone over the right line.
Or was it his
entry back onto the track?
Entrance back onto the track. But then I've got to say, it's a race. If you've done the long lap penalty again, of course you're accelerating. It was on the edge of the track, but he was always going to slot in front of someone, and it was going to be awkward. So surely it's not that. He must have just gone over the white line.
Counting it down there on okay, Martin. Oh, and Martin has to the rejoin behind the latest marker.
Is this a Moto3 race?
Jack Miller just parked the bike in the middle of the corner, didn't he? He was unhappy at how Martin got past him down to Pedrosa corner. Cracked his leg on the previous lap, and Miller taking both prisoners. That was 20 years interest on that. Here we go again from Miller into the final corner.
There's room. There's room. I looked across at Silva and he went,
It was tight. Look, in that corner, I'm thinking Giovinazzo Rossi, Marquez Lorenzo, and Ewan Crivier.
What you mean the classics? What we'll
Line being
we
that
won't
the
be allowed
doors
to be
open.
we won't be allowed to be doing that same gap.
No, we're back at all. It's just not great. Just not clever. Scrabble, as you say here.
Yeah. I'm not great at that.
Fabio Quartararo, I'm not sure whether he's done it again, the long lap. I don't think he has. Right, yeah, not on that previous lap anyway. His lap times 1:38.8 at the front, 38.3 from Binder, 38.1 from Bagnaia, fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, Bagnaia looks comfortable. Very comfortable. The bike looks like it's turning. He said he'd been playing catch up because they didn't test here, or the test riders didn't test here. This has been a mistake.
Do you know what? Do you know why he's gone wide there?
Because
he's looking.
Because he has to look, because he's entering the track. Come on! Let's use some intelligence here.
Common sense.
Common sense. He's standing the bike up. He's looking to make sure it's safe.
Not even bigger. Pecco Bagnaia now has to drop one position. He has been given a penalty for that, effectively, for that contact with Miller. And look how far back Miller is. Well, that changes the outcome of the race, perhaps.
Welcome to MotoGP Racing 2023. I'll tell you what,
we're going to be talking more about decisions that are being made than the actual track. Thankfully, we're being given brilliant action too, with what we've seen in the early stages of this race. But we are going to be talking about the offices and stewards' rooms, and that's not motorcycle racing. It's not what we've grown up with. It's not what we come to learn.
No, not at all. We want less rules, not more.
Well, again, on that Miller one, Miller was. I'm not saying why, but he opened up a little
There was
bit of
room.
a gap.
There was room. And it works both ways. When you've gone slightly wide, and Jack was ever so slightly wide, you are aware of it as the rider. You do. With your peripheral vision, you're looking to the inside, and you're just checking if there's a front wheel there. If there is, you don't have to panic and stand the bike up. You just create a little bit of room, and I'm talking a couple of inches, maybe even a foot, and that allows both of you to get around the corner together. You don't lose a position. Everyone's happy. So that's why when you say it's a racing incident, because both riders are responsible.
Fabio Quartararo did do his long lap again. I'll let you know whether he did it correctly on this occasion. Completed. So Quartararo's okay now. He's in 16th though, out the point of 1 second behind the two Fernandezes. At the front, Pecco Bagnaia. What's the gap between himself and Binder? It had got down to a couple of tenths of a second. It's now about 1 second. KTM 1 and 2 once more. 8 tenths between the South African and the Aussie. And then Pecco Bagnaia behind. Aleix Espargaro's found a little bit of something here. I wonder if Martin's having the same front end problem again. There we go. He's from on board with Martin.
So you can see it. There's room. There's room. It's great. It's a racing incident.
Yeah,
it's a racing incident.
Wholeheartedly with you there. How many times have we seen that move? Do you remember the Pedrosa, Dovizioso, Lorenzo one that we had in there? It was horrible. It was not great to see. But no one was in the wrong. It was just
that was a racing incident. Yeah, it's when two lines cross.
It's penalised for that.
No.
They did, didn't they? Still, Brad Binder laying down the black lines coming through Aspar corner. What he said he enjoyed yesterday with the blue smoke pouring off the rear of Jack Miller's tyre. I haven't seen as much blue smoke in this race so far.
I haven't seen any, and that is the difference. And that's why we love the sprint races. The riders are allowed to attack to their absolute limit. The engineers are allowed to actually free the bike up a little bit more, give you a little bit more power so the bike spins, so then the rider can use their skill and talent to allow them to turn the bike around with it.
In fact, Miller is pulling away from Martin now. Miller's just done a 38.0. surprises around here. But KTM is definitely in the mix. You know, we were saying last year, KTM, you know, it's a long time, but getting to the top of MotoGP is always going to be the one that's going to take even longer. It looked like they were a long way away. Well, however much the Ducati is the dominant machine, KTM have proved this weekend, they proved with Binder and Miller, both of them already this season, that this bike has something.
Yeah, absolutely. You got that one slightly wrong, did Binder. It's difficult when you've been leading for so long and you see the gap coming down. You're expecting someone to make a move on you. He'll know that it's Francesco Bagnaia, a rider that's been who's got a reputation for being very late on the break. So you catch yourself breaking out a little bit later or going, let's say, slightly more defensive. Oh, that was a mistake.
No room through for Pecco Bagnaia, but it's getting tight there. He's going to be able to have a go, as he did on Miller, through one of the fast right-handers, Crivier, on Ferrari corner.
It's looking like
Bagnaia's
got more tyre, doesn't it?
Yeah, here we go.
Setting it up into the last corner.
Here comes Pecco Bagnaia, the world champion. Now, the guarantee here is Brad Binder will have another go. I'm almost certain of it. Bagnaia takes over finally in the Grand Prix of Spain. Has clear air in front of him. Can Binder respond with 3 laps to go? What do you think, Neil? Not enough tyre, perhaps, for Binder?
Yeah, it just looks... Well, he always looks on the edge, doesn't he, Brad Binder? But I think it's looking like the drive part of the tyre is gone. Look at that there, and that's a perfect example of it there. You look at Francesco Bagnaia, and he gained, what, 5 bike lengths. Oh, the bike got nervous then. That'll give Binder hope, because then what you can do, you can claw it back, and now we're into Binder's, let's say, best section. Let's watch him on the brakes to see if Binder can close that gap.
Bagnaia will, however much you're going to try and go defensive into here, are you going to run wide if you do so? Bagnaia inch perfect in there. Spot on, wasn't it? Remember, these two riders, we talk about Grand Prix being decided on a Friday now. These two riders came through Q1. They were at risk of not making it through to be able to battle at this point of the race.
It's definitely been a topsy-turvy weekend.
Down to the temperatures that we have over this Grand Prix weekend. Down today on where we'd expect them to be massively high on Friday afternoon.
There's no quitting Binder. We've learned that over the years, Gav. The teeth are out. He's trying to latch onto the back of one of them wings or scoops or whatever you want to call them on the back of that Ducati. He will not give in until he's crossed the finish line. He'll throw everything at it. Yeah,
he's like a dog with a bone, isn't he, Brad Binder? Here we go. Up the home straight.
And he's done the hardest thing. Sometimes when you've been leading for so long and you get your lap to settle into it, just to retrain your eye to, you know, having a motorcycle in front of you.
And again, we saw pressure from behind last week, didn't we, from Alex Rins. Binder just wants to stay as close as he can to Bagnaia. Bagnaia will know that Binder's there. He'll be able to hear the KTM just in the background. This part of the racetrack, it looks like the Ducati has the edge.
It does.
And it looks like the KTM actually in the harder braking zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad would expect him to do.
Through Cito Bond's corner, a lap and a half remaining in the Spanish Grand Prix. It's been a real classic here. A battle between Bagnaia, Binder and Miller. With Jorge Martin just watching on. Binder, how's he got that one stopped again?
Well, that's what we saw yesterday. I mean, he was able to do that lap after lap and gain so many bike lengths.
I'm speechless with what you see from that helicopter. You're thinking, oh no, that's Binder wide, that's the end of the race. But no, Binder's still in it as they go into the stadium section once more.
If he gets half a sniff, he's such a reactive rider, and it doesn't matter where he is. He's very instinctive, is Brad Binder.
Through the fast rights, we ride on board with Binder. Pecco Bagnaia in his sights. Has he got any chance of getting through on the world champion? If he gets half a chance, he will have a go.
Well, here we go, Gav.
Neck and neck.
1 lap to go, and Binder is... Well, I can hear the shot music, the jump music.
2 3/4 miles to go in this Spanish Grand Prix. Last lap time, and Binder sideways into turn 1. Just doing everything he can to stay with Bagnaia. A tenth between them across the line. Jack Miller looks like he should hang on to 3rd place. But who will take victory? Will it be a perfect, clean sweep for Brad Binder after victory in the sprint race? Or will Bagnaia fight back? They've always always opened up through turn 4, the gap, but now it's up to Binder to try and claw back that distance down towards turn 6.
It's going to be all about turn 6. If he can get close enough, then he's got a chance of attacking into turn 13, the last corner.
And if he is as close as he was, I think, on the last lap, Binder will have a go. Again,
closing, and makes the apex.
And he gets out as well, so Binder is going to bring this down, I'm sure, to the final corner, to be able to have a go into Lorenzo corner. Think of the classic races that have gone down to that corner over the years. Your Rossi Gibernals, your Marquez Lorenzos. Look, here we go again. You're doing Criviers. This is one of those of the classic. Oh, Binder thought about it. Going through at Nieto corner into the stadium. The file. We're going wild in this one. Who is going to take victory in the Spanish Grand Prix? Bagnaia from Binder through 2 fast right-handers, and then it's turn 13, Lorenzo corner, the last opportunity. Binder's closing all the time. Has Bagnaia got it covered? Surely Binder's going to have a go. He's going to try and throw it to the inside. He allows Bagnaia to get in there first, and it's going to be Pecco Bagnaia who takes victory in the Spanish Grand Prix. Rode superbly on that last lap. Bagnaia beats Binder to the line in Jerez. Miller takes 3rd for KTM. Look how delighted Davide Tardozzi and the Ducati crew are. Danny Pedrosa takes 7th place in front of his home fans. But what a finish to the Spanish Grand Prix, Neil.
We spoke to Davide Tardozzi on Friday night, and he said, I hate losing. He absolutely said it's horrible. I hate losing. I don't want to lose. What a reaction.
To the line in Jerez. Miller takes 3rd for